Hello everyone, welcome to New Paradigm Beings channel. This is Jasmine, and I've come to you today with a special reading. I know that tomorrow is 11/11/11, and we know the high energies that tend to populate times like this. However, I do believe that although there are alignments in the sky and on the calendar and with the planets do make for certain atmospheres and energy. But with that being said, I just want to remind us that um, how well we align with that energy is up to us, and um, how obedient we decide to be to our souls, and our willingness to line up with these conjectures of God and the divine. All right, so whether you know that I'm a twin flame, and I do offer advice that is um, very helpful for twin flames, but if you do not maybe identify in that community, that is okay. I offer my services and my channeling for all people to better align and alchemize with their dharma, their path, co-create with God, no matter who you are. And today I will be doing a special reading with about 5 decks. So, with that being said, I would just like to open up with the Green Man. I'm just gonna hold him. He's so much fun, guys. Like, he gives me so much. He's very stabilizing. Like, he's very grounding. I even have. I know you can't see my face right now. I also have a. I have a ring of either copper or brass. It's also a good grounding. Hi everyone. It's also a good grounding element. And I'll just lay these here. I'll put my hand there. I'll say thank you to the divine and earthly masculine, and their right to be embodied here, and feeling powerful and feeling direct. And I pray that our masculine souls be filled with a sense of purpose and direction. Okay. Amen. Okay. I also want to call upon the energy of Sarasvati. The divine feminine who teaches all of us the art and the science of manifestation. Okay. Very important for mastering your higher power, just being in your higher power in general. So I ask her to pour her spirit over this reading today. Thank you. And just cleanse our atmosphere. All right. All right, and just lead us into a new time. All right. Thank you so much. All right, that was a very simple initiation and prayer. I'm just going to continue to shuffle the cards and hold space for everyone. This is my trusty book of shadows. I love this book to death. This is very awesome. Okay. Okay. All right. Alright, so this deck has to do with matters of the soul, or the higher realms and the divine. And this deck has to do with the practical energies of Earth and our daily lives. I just want to see how they want to communicate to us today. I just want to allow this reading to be as free-flowing as possible. And I just want to be the channel for whatever spirit has to bring to the people using this platform, using this YouTube platform. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards now. And make sure I take off the title pages first. There we go. Alright. So matters of the spirit. What can you tell us? Those of us who are on the integration process path, those of us who are twin flames and are consciously embodied on this path at an existential level of consciousness. And if this is your first time visiting my channel or visiting a reader, I'd just like to welcome you. You are loved and you are definitely welcome here. And do not be afraid. Okay. Okay, so I've picked matters of spirit first. I have the Maiden of Fire. Oh, I have the Four of Fire. And I have the Three of Air. Very interesting. Alright. Okay. So with the Maiden of Fire, we have a woman who's holding the divine spark to her soul. I pick up the desire for there to be a closer relationship with the divine feminine and spirit. And by that I mean, well, you know, that little voice, that intuition, that that whisper that's on the inside. I believe that there is a calling for divine feminines to be more sensitive to that whisper. And I believe that, of course, that advice applies to myself as well. I also noticed that this moon phase, this moon right here, is about the phase of, it's probably exact. Let me check that. Well, it looks like the moon phase we're in now. Yes, it's very similar to the moon phase that we're in right now. So keep, you know, allow yourself to be obedient to those whispers, especially if you're in a populated place. Still respect quiet reflection. Okay. Okay. And here we have the Four of Fire. This is Mars. Okay. There's a chance, it almost looks like Mars is dormant, or Mars is, almost looks like Mars is sleeping with, or resting with his eyes closed. He's surrounded by salamanders who are representative of the element of fire. I believe his dormancy has to do with the fact that he wants and wishes for the divine feminine to hear his silent whispers. Even though maybe he can't make contact right now. Maybe he knows contact is not the most appropriate thing to make right now. So what he's doing is going within and whispering from the inside, hoping that she will hear that on the other end of the telephone. And that's why this card of advice of the Maiden of Fire comes up anyway, because that's our divine masculine asking or whispering to us. And remember, remember what it's like to be with your twin or with divine source, and how everything just seems to go perfect when you're in alignment and when you're just listening as a divine feminine. Like, you just feel that, you listen and you go with it because it's fun and it's beautiful and it's love and it's sexual power. These two go together. He's contemplating, meditating towards this, and she's embracing it. She's embracing that with love, and she's allowing herself to feel the warmth, the beautiful warmth of that candle that is his masculinity, his fire, his power as a man, as a divine masculine. Okay. Okay, then we have the Three of Air. Okay. This card this card is a little bit interesting. There's a woman with her eyes open or half open, but her reflection is closed. Like, her reflection isn't not aligning with that. Her eyes are closed in the reflection. Which is very interesting. I do want to read, I want to pull from the book, actually. This is from above. Okay, air. Three of Air. Scrying. Many forms of interpreting or divination rely upon interpreting signs or symbols. The forms vary in the way that those signs and symbols are acquired. Scrying is done with anything with a reflective surface, although objects with a dark background are generally considered more effective, such as a dark bowl filled with water or a black mirror. A pane of glass painted black on the back, usually placed within a frame. Crystal balls are also common, and pond or any still or nearly still body of water can be used. Scrying is simple. Sitting before your scrying tool, gaze at the surface softly, letting your eyes unfocus. Breathing slowly and steadily, enter a light meditative state. Let the images emerge from the depths of your scrying tool and reveal themselves on the surface. Incorporating extra actions or attending to other considerations enhances some divination practices or considerations. As with dream work, burning the appropriate herbs aids scrying. In addition, many practitioners prefer to cast a circle before beginning and to only scry during a new or full moon. The Three of Air represents finding the truth by looking at something with different eyes or from another point of view. Just as a reflective scrying surface is different than a mirror and shows hidden yet significant information, so we find unperceived yet important truths when looking at something through a different lens. The shadow side of this card indicates deception or misinformation caused by a distorted perception. But this card is upright. So it speaks of finding an unperceived yet important truth when looking at something through a different lens. Well, number one, I believe it's time to consider, actually, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is encouraging us, whether you're the divine masculine or the divine feminine, to consider, maybe this is to understand that all of our processes and reactions are connected to a previous reaction, meaning, you know, the product of whatever thoughts or whatever feelings, but especially thoughts, whatever thoughts are going around in our head have a reaction. They have a consequence. Being connected to another makes it possible to feel something from the other side. And we should be at a point where we understand that and don't just act out of unconscious brashness, but have understanding for our feelings and to act in a more conscious way because we have more love for ourselves and our counterpart, and just like love for this process altogether. When you're connected to another, you understand that you can understand the chemical reactions that come from you and affect the other person, and feeling what it's like for the other person to be affected. We probably shouldn't. I think that the community has found a new way of separation, a new philosophy of separation, and I think we have to get out of that. I think we have to stop saying that our eyes are open and demanding that the other person's eyes are closed, or accusing them of having their eyes closed. We have to stop that. That's not staying in the truth. This is encouraging us to stay in the truth. And we have all the divine, this is in the spiritual realm, like we understand what divine justice is. We have all the divine tools that we need to prosper and to develop and to wash away or burn away burn away these impurities that get in our way, or that we allow to accumulate onto our path. Okay, these are matters of the earth. I'm going to pull some cards here. Okay. Okay, this is pretty easy. I'm gonna take what I've just spoken about, the truth of the higher realm, and a reflection on how we've been dealing with it. Maybe how we've been dealing with things lately. And what is next, I'm going to encourage a way to get past all of that, how to work on that, how to surrender, just letting go. You know, it's all about following your friend, following your passion, and following your soul. I definitely recommend videos, any video that you can find on alchemy, to better understand what that means for you. Okay, so next to the Maiden of Fire, these behaviors on Earth have to do with our coping mechanisms, our unconscious coping mechanisms, where we act in a way that blocks our manifestations. For the Divine Feminine, what is blocking further union for her is being a busybody. My Mac is about to go out, so I need battery. She being a busybody is her way of coping with this busybodiness keeps her away from feeling. Like, she doesn't want to feel, or whether she knows it or not, she doesn't really want to feel what is going on with her feelings or with her soul. She thinks if she can just imitate the masculine and survive, and just like, okay, I'll just go gun-ho in physical, doing my physical mission, I'll just book up my calendar, I'll just schedule all this stuff, and I'll be going somewhere because of that. Because of my hard work, quote unquote. And we know the truth about that is that the work is really the understanding and the development on the inside. But this is just what she's kind of late, this has kind of been the resistance to feeling that inside. So again, like, she's used her physical schedule to kind of mask over the feelings that she should actually be paying attention to. This in return, on the masculine side, is causing that noise that she's putting in the air, that she is using to block out her feelings. That noise is actually transferring over to the divine masculine as a lot of mental noise and a lot of confusion and a lot of mixed messages and conflicting truths. There is a transfer difficulty to just get the truth out there. I'm sorry, to decipher fact from fiction. And so, with all this noise going around, with all this buzzing, with all this banter and activity, it's kind of a mental hell for them when they pick that up. Now, in their mind, they'll translate that as, oh my god, the world is just going crazy, shit is just fucked up, and it just kind of sucks to be, oh wow, this world, it just sucks to have a head on your shoulders in this world. But that's not the case. Those brain waves are actually transferring to him from the divine feminine, kind of closing her vessel off, her receptivity off. And all of that static is just staying in his space when really it needs a place to release itself. To go and release itself. Okay, so in relation, so what is the fatal flaw with this egotistical behavior? It's just judgment. For both halves, it's just being judgmental. It's taking things and putting it under your control, or taking something and making it a slave, like making something a slave to you. We all have different experiences of what that's like. We know what we should, at this time, we should know what our vices are and be willing to purge these things. But it's always going to be judgmentality that is the downfall, because we will paint a picture the way we want it, so that we can play God, so that we can play the all-knowing and bring something under our control, and then we wonder why it's never manifesting, because this is not how this works. Surrender is how it works, because this universe is so abundant. It's impossible for it to manifest emptiness for you. Okay? That's something that's just impossible. It's impossible for that to happen. Your mind has to be, you have to decide to turn off your mind to block your blessings. Your blessings do not need, to block your blessings, you need to give yourself permission to block your blessings. The natural state, everything's Gucci, okay? So that's, I just wanted to shine light both on the truth of spirit and the intentions that we have been I'm sorry, and the behaviors that we tend to wear on top of our intentions when we're in our ego, and what this looks like when we're not in alignment. It's just some perspective. Please understand, like, the origin is always love and fun and bliss and playing. And when we try to make things all about separating ourselves from that in our work, in our and in our talents, those things become pointless because they have no fertile soil. Okay, so that was part 1 of the reading. So we know the truth and we know the illusion. That's just how the cards read today. All right. In part 2 of the video, I'm going to come back and speak about how we can actively how we can actively work towards a much more realistic solution. Like, we're going to really get into the alchemy in the next reading. Steps to take. You know, what parts of your body want to have a deeper friendship with you so that they can have the permission to participate in your alchemy, your alchemical process. And I'll be using 1, 2, 3 decks for that, okay? Alright, so we've gotten some perspective already, and there's lots more juicy details to come. Thank you so much again. I just want to close this reading by thanking all of our guides and all the ancestors and everything that looks over us and loves us, and is all the higher divine creatures that are here to see us win and see us succeed, and watch us shine in our purest form. Let us never forget that. Okay, I love you. Bye. Amen.